for coming on. I'm gonna reintroduce myself. I'm Jonathan Gary. I'm the creator of JG Bold. We're an investment company. I do a whole bunch of stuff, right? And one of the things I do, I love to come on and explore opportunities with today's mentors of entrepreneurship, spiritual stuff, and everything. So I have this podcast called Just Conversations. So
Okay.
thank you for coming on, Dr. Parker. And we're going to get into it, and we're going to start with some stuff. I'm going to get all kind of nosy on your journey and how you how you got from point A to point Z. All right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
first, thank you again for coming on. I appreciate you coming in. And we're going to start off with kind of like a track through your early journey and to where you are now. So, did a little bit of research about you. And first, let's start off. Can you tell me about your journey as it started off as a single mom and what did that look like for you?
Okay. Well, I was married at the age of 22
Okay.
to my best friend from high school, and we had a little girl. Things didn't work out for whatever reason, and I became a single mom while I was pregnant with her, and I struggled. The same year that I gave birth to my daughter. Was the same year that I became a New York City Department of Ed teacher. So I left daycare, the wonderful world of early childhood, and I became a public school fourth grade teacher in my home state, which is New York. So I'm based in New York City, and for the first few years, I taught fourth grade for the first 6 years of my career. Luckily, what daycare didn't offer me was after school and opportunities to work after school and to work on Saturday. So, what does every single mother need? More money. So,
Mhm.
I was able to garner in more cash for the household. And at some point, the struggle, I would say, diminished. Um, I started to dream bigger. And by the time she turned 4, I made a decision that I was going to take my tax check and to try to figure out how I could buy some real estate for us to move out of our two-bedroom apartment into something bigger. I wanted a yard, I wanted some space, I wanted to own something. And so that led me to looking for houses online with her right on my lap. We would look every week and we would go on Zillow.com and we would look for houses. That became like my
Well,
thing to do.
slow down now. We're going to get to the house and stuff. We're going to get
That became my thing to do.
okay.
And so I eventually relocated. I
Okay.
left New York and relocated to Virginia, which is where my father was born and raised. And I taught also at the elementary school level in Virginia.
Okay. What would you say to a parent that was having a baby in the midst of going through a breakup or a divorce, and now that baby comes out and you solo? What advice would you say to them at that moment?
I would say two things. The first is monetize your gifts. All of us have gifts. So, whatever your gift is, give it to the world and charge for it. So, because I love children, because I love teaching, because I'm the firstborn and I've got 5 younger sisters, I've been leading and teaching my entire life. It was a natural progression to become a teacher. When I was in the fourth grade, I decided I would become a teacher, and I did become a teacher. So I monetized my gift of teaching by tutoring after school, both within the system and on my own. So
Okay.
I would say first, monetize your gifts to supplement your income. Then I would say read to your child as if their life depends on it, because it does. When we read to children, particularly newborns, it builds their vocabulary and their language skills, and they just become more well rounded, smarter children with more knowledge. And the more knowledge children have, the more they can grow in terms of social mobility. So those are the two things I actually did. I monetized my gifts, and I read to my child, Tania. I have a little girl. Well, my little girl's 27 years old now.
So how would you say the mental health part of that and fighting through that component, right? Of maybe not having any support, maybe trying to juggle all of that with a newborn and maybe couldn't afford daycare, all that good other stuff to where they couldn't at first monetize their gift, what would be some of the suggestions that you would give them
If they can't monetize their gifts
at the beginning?
at
Because
the
now
beginning.
they just got this brand new baby and they by themselves, leaving that hospital by themselves, getting into an Uber in this generation, right?
So I would say even though I was going through that process, I was still strong-willed.
Okay.
So you have to have a sense of self and garner strength from knowing who you are and knowing that this is just a season that you're going to get through it. And
And
so if you have a by any means necessary mindset, which is what I have to this day, you make it happen. So that's what I did. I made it happen because I believed that this was a temporary season, that I was going to grow through this season. I would eventually get to the other side and be able to tell my story, which was that women are powerful and you can do anything that you set your mind to. And so instead of having a victim mentality,
mm-hmm.
I had an empowered mentality that I'm going to pull myself up by my bootstraps. And I went because I lived with myself and my child. I had a positive household. I didn't have the stress anymore. I didn't have the worry. So that was on the other side of the door. So I maintained a mindset of this is just a temporary season. We're going to get through it. I'm not a victim. I'm going to be the best mom on this planet. And that's what I set out to do.
That's nice. That's nice. That is awesome. Um, Very powerful. Very
Thank you.
powerful.